What's up, streamers? It's Friday. Free talk. You know what it's about, what we do here. We throw a lot of different things out tonight. Hopefully, cover some ground. Not spend too much time on either topic. So, first off, did y'all see? I seen a video clip of it. Shout out to LaWerewolf. About the French girl getting they call it play raped by the Muslim little boy, and it was filmed by a Muslim guy at a little apartment complex, I guess over in France somewhere.
No.
No, y'all didn't see that?
No.
So I watched the video, and it's kind of weird. You see this little black kid. Yeah, I don't know how they know he's Muslim or anything. I didn't really look up the whole story, but I did find it was interesting that there's this little white girl there. You just see him keep pushing her down and getting up on top of her, and apparently he's unzipping his pants, but he's a little kid.
Right.
Obviously he can't even get an erect penis, right? And there's somebody else filming it.
Man.
And apparently there was an arrest and things of that nature. So I was watching, and it was really disturbing that a lot of people are oh, it's kids, and what do they know? Obviously the kid didn't know what he was doing, he knew what he was doing, but he wouldn't have been able to even perform the act to begin with, right?
Right.
But one of the points that the LaWerewolf guy made, and I agree, is that I guess there was conversation that it shouldn't be that big of a deal because they're both little kids. The girl looked like she was maybe 6 to 8 range. The boy maybe 5 to 7. So they're still kids around here pulling hair. You know what I mean? So the whole sexual abuse thing, I guess, isn't really into play. But the ideology that would cause that, right? And this is what he was talking about. He's the French people were kind of playing it off, I guess, that it's not that big of a deal, that you shouldn't worry about that because, and that's the reason why they're calling it play rape, because he wasn't able to perform the function. But the idea was there, right?
Now, is the little girl playing along, or does she look upset?
It's kind of hard to tell. You can see she's kind of pushing them off, but the clip is very short, and I guess there's a larger story, but I couldn't find it. I didn't spend too much time on it, but the thought process that the people would say that it's not that big of a deal because
because he couldn't actually rape her, but that's
correct.
Still, no, right?
And, yeah, in this is the same type of places that have an influx of immigrants and refugees, right? So you see this stuff a lot about whether it's good for these Western cultures to bring the immigrants in or let the refugees come in and having that open border society. And my thought process when looking at that was apparently not, because whether the boy could perform the function or not, it's obviously in his thought process. Maybe he sees that, or it's talked about in that culture. Or
to do that, he would have had to have seen something. Cause
it has to be a regular thing where it's
talk
not
about it and then know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. He had to somehow experience that. Maybe not he was raped or anything, but if he sees that, for him
he would think that's acceptable.
Exactly.
Even at 5 or to 7, or maybe whatever the age range is, that you would think that's an acceptable way to play, right? It's not acceptable.
Yeah, and when you hear about the rape cultures that's going on over in Sweden and different societies where you have this influx, and then not to mention all the violence and also the terrorist attacks, it's what else needs to happen for people to wisen up a little bit?
Well, what about that story they crushed that happened last year here in Iowa? The little 5-year-old, she was
the Chobani people.
Well, it wasn't the Chobani people.
Well, no, it wasn't.
Yes, that's where the factory is in
that's harboring
Twin Falls or whatever.
Yeah,
and you have a huge drop off of migrants. And Obama, was placing people in areas to, I guess, I guess the idea was if you break them up and it's easier to assimilate. But what happens is that in this particular case, the woman who, it isn't the mom, it was like they call her grandma, okay, who lives in the apartment complex as well.
Big Mama.
Right, the little grandma lady. She found the little girl, and the little boys the girl was like 5, and the boys were like 7, and then there was an older one who was videotaping, and they like peed in her mouth, peed on her clothes, touched her inappropriately. Whether they could do the act or not, that's rape. And that little child is traumatized. And Pamela Geller, you can find that story, and she followed that one everywhere. She met with the family, and you can look up that story a little bit more in depth. But they totally squashed it, and she was screeching about it because it was being squashed. Like, why isn't this being called out, and the Child Protective Services were involved and all these things, and everybody's just telling the family to shut up. Like, legit, telling them to be quiet, don't say anything. If anybody says anything about migrants, they're going to be in trouble, and that was by, like, the city council or something, and it was a big stink. It just stunk all the way to high heaven. Like, I don't care whose kids it is. Migrants, regular American, been here 100,000 years. I don't care. It's inappropriate and it's not acceptable, and it shouldn't be covered regardless of where your origin is or whatever. None of it. That's ridiculous. I mean, our job as adults is to protect those that can't protect themselves, right? And so, no, it's not okay. It's never okay.
No, I agree 100%. I don't want to go down the line of all the pedophiles and stuff like that. There's a lot of information on those creepy bastards, but to kind of stay in that range, like I was also reading a story. I know you looked at it about the new nipple fetish, right?
Yeah.
Like people are getting surgeries done on their nipples,
like nip tucks?
Nip tucks. Seriously, not nip and tuck, just nip tuck. So they can wear the see-through blouses or shirts or whatever the hell it is, like some of the TV stars, which like I thought they only wore that shit on like ceremony nights, like award shows and stuff. But I guess it's getting a little more extreme, like they're just going out like that for any
event,
picture, right? But it's like these are the same people that are like the leftist celebrities, right?
Yeah.
Are the same people also that's like for all this shit as well. And it's like, if you let these like people in and like they get what they want, you
like
don't get to walk
around.
Yeah, you don't get to walk around like that. They're good. They don't like that.
If you're a woman, right, and you get raped, and your opinion is only worth half of a man's in court, so you would need another woman to have witnessed said incidents so that you would have a full voice in court. And a lot of times they will kill the woman because she enticed him, right? Like that's how it works in Sharia courts. And so this defense and it's like, I'm gonna be up here naked, like they want to put a sheet on you, like you can believe what you want to believe. That's not the argument. It's that they was just shut down in Texas, the Sharia law courts. Like, no, you cannot do things that supersede our Constitution. You must follow this.
Yeah,
you can believe what you want to believe, but you must follow these general parameters.
Why would they want to kill the only ones that can reproduce and make the babies in the future?
I don't know.
Why would they want to do that?
Because they can make babies with another one.
But
women as a population, there's more women than men. I mean, they still have the multi-wife. They like to make fun of Mormons here, but I mean, they still have multi-wives and different things in other areas. It's an Old Testament kind of a thing. This is not this kind of a dumb argument, but
I guess because I've never left the country, I'm really just all American.
Yeah. So
apple pie.
You know what surprised me the most about the nipple story is that women. There's been this big push of being natural and just being yourself.
No body shaming.
No body shaming. You can be fat. It's beautiful.
No, it's not.
And it's like, no, it's not. You're gonna die. You're dying. I'm concerned for your health. I don't care that you're fat. Like, that's if you want to be. However, it concerns me because you're gonna die young. You're gonna die early. You're gonna have problems. You're gonna have diabetes, and that's sad and it's hard. And please don't. You know what I mean? And so it's like, yeah, if it takes a little bit of shaming to get you in shape, maybe. Whatever works for you. But
Yeah, I probably need to be
they
shamed
scream
more.
about those things, but then we'll turn around and then you have this huge influx of women wanting their nipples lifted so they can stick out of their shirts just
perky.
like the stars. And you're just like, oh my God.
Well, that's what's sad about just role models in general. Like, these people aren't fucking role models.
They entertain you for a fee.
They don't entertain me.
Well, not you, but I'm just saying they're entertainers. I mean, it's kind of like sports. Like, they get paid millions of dollars to play a sport. I'm not saying it's not hard. I'm not saying acting's not hard. I'm not saying, you know, being a celebrity is just the easiest thing or whatever. But at the end of the day, like, what are they doing for the world? Like, what are they changing? What are they bringing to the table? And it's like, no, you entertained me like a court jester. Congratulations. You know what I mean? And
You're
I
a
just...
high-paid clown.
Yeah, and, you know, I don't
Literally.
get it. But...
But, I mean, what I was getting at is, like, a lot of these people are leftists, and they scream for this type of shit, and it's why, like, I think leftists are confused, because time and time again, there's contradicting, like, inside the big tent umbrella, three-ring circus, Barnum and Bailey's style, fucking leftist shit. There's so many conflicting arguments. Like, so you have feminism, but then you have the trans community, which when you let a man become a girl and it's beating the shit out of all the other women sports stars, well, that's not feminism.
That's
you know?
anti-woman.
Yeah, it's anti-woman. like, no, that's bullshit. And when...
no, if you're on drugs, you should not be able to play sports.
well, not even that. It's like...
it's really that easy.
The Woman of the Year was really a
Man.
a man. You know, now models look like women are men or were men or whatever. It's like, well, you just took a bunch of female jobs.
Well, then you can't have your gender. You can't have all of these boxes for people. Like, their house of cards is going to collapse because you just destroyed all of the.
There's an Xbox. You can mark X. I forget what state it is in, but they just made that.
So what's going to stop a bunch of
You
like
could mark X.
Yeah.
like
What was
high
this
testosterone dudes from checking?
For your gender?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
says male or female, or the letter X.
So what's going to stop a bunch of smartasses from checking X so that they can get the perks?
Right.
Well, I mean, I'm not even
I
talking
mean, we
about
may
the
be
smart
moving
asses.
more to equality this way because then you'll just have
No,
across the board.
But I mean, so these people also, you know, you see feminists in we had the Sharia protests or marches or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you had feminism there, and it's like the new face of feminism is a chick with an American flag looking hijab or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And it's like, how's having to cover up?
And I bet she doesn't have a clit, which is even more disturbing.
Well, probably not. But at the same time, I was like, I thought y'all guys were like free the tatas.
Yeah.
Now it's like cover up the ankles. Like, which one is it? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, half of your movements are suppressing the other movement. In the same movement, you got Black Lives Matter that won't let, at certain points, they won't let even the black males join. The women got to be in the front. It's like, your guys' shit doesn't make any sense. Like, why don't y'all just say, fuck it, let's have a bonfire party, smoke some dope, drink some beer, and we'll all get along.
Well, no, you can't do that.
Why not?
You can't do that because everybody's got their punch card on what their identity is. You have to be these things. You have to sit in your box and be a miserable twat like everybody else because they're all miserable because they don't know what the fuck they're doing with their lives. They have no grounding, no morals, no
I don't
values.
have a punch card.
To like,
I'm the one who
yeah,
punches
identity
them.
politics
I'm
is
the
bullshit.
evil white guy who punches cards. Like, yep, you are these things.
Because identity politics is stupid. It's
Well,
stupid.
yeah. Free Kekistan.
Yeah. Good job, Sargon. But
Speaking of Sargon, right?
yeah.
And it was another thing that I was planning on bringing up. I don't want to spend too much time on that. It's just the hypocrisy.
On nipples, you don't want to talk forever about nipples? Come on, dude.
I don't
Are
want
you
to talk
serious?
about
I thought
them.
you were some
Yeah, I would
male
rather-
chauvinist. I thought you were a pig.
Yeah, I'd rather put my lips on them instead of just talking about them. There's a difference.
All right.
I'm about action, not talk.
All right.
Anyways, no, Sargon. So, I don't know if any of my watchers watch Sargon. Hopefully you do. He was just on the Joe Rogan show. He was actually on a lot of people's shows. Dave Rubin, Sargon. Shit, he was on somebody else's too. Anyways, so he was on the Joe Rogan Experience, right? And I like to check that out, depending on who his guest is. And they got into like a 3.5 hour long conversation. It was pretty good. There was a lot of different points, and they even talked about some of the stuff that we were just talking about, like the hypocrisy of it, and like the actual, like, to go off on a tangent back to that, like ISIS, you know, everybody knows they have like propaganda magazines, right?
Yeah.
So, and it changes names, but they've actually stated in their magazines that, like, they don't hate the Western culture because of Trump and his tweets, or because we walk around the bombings, and yeah, that doesn't help shit. But no, they hate everyone because they're not Muslim. It says it right there. Like, you don't believe in Allah, so we want to kill you. He's like, so don't get it twisted. Like, you can open us in with open arms. If you're not Muslim and, you know, give the glory to Allah, we want to throw you off a building. It's like, well, fuck. Like, they couldn't tell you in more plain fashion, like, fuck your marches. Don't like us, because we don't like you.
Do you think they get upset because, like, you know, when, like, a truck plows through, you know, France, and they're like, oh, this dangerous truck attack, you know, and they're like, damn it, that was us! Shit! You know,
that's why they try to claim this shit.
Workplace violence, at San Bernardino, and it's like, no, that was us. Do you think they get upset? Like, these Westerners are retarded. They just will not catch a hint. Do you think they get mad?
It's because we don't have a law on our side to understand what's really going on.
Because we just keep brushing it off as some other thing. No, he was a frustrated gay. That's why he shot up that nightclub. Like, what?
But anyways.
Just curious.
But I was going to talk about Sargon. Yeah, he had a lot of different points in there. But him and Joe Rogan go back and forth toward the end of their 3-hour conversation about ancient history. Right? And, like, that's something that I'm actually, like, really into.
Yeah, me too.
Ancient societies and stuff like that. So, Sargon, one, is an atheist.
Okay.
Which, that's one of the points I don't like about the guy. I'll listen to him on some things, but when he talks about, like, religion and certain shit, it's like in one ear, right out the other.
Well, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't be the basis for your understanding of the world around you necessarily.
It's like listening to Bill Maher, though, too. It's like, oh, you're stupid, Jesus. And it's like, well, you know, now I want to throw you off a building.
Well,
you
it's
know
like, get
what I mean?
to the point, right? Like, you were funny a minute ago, and then I'm like, yeah, that was a low blow. That wasn't unnecessary. I just don't understand why the ideology has to come into it.
Yeah, so they started talking about, like, some religion, and then even, you know, brought up the point of potential extraterrestrial visiting Earth at some point in the ancient times. And they brought up these ancient structures, and he was totally dismissive of, like, he's like, I don't think that's that great of an achievement. I don't think that's that great of an achievement for the time. And it's like, are you fucking kidding? You obviously haven't done your research and looked into these places.
Well, he admits that. He's just like, I mean, that's not his area of expertise. You know.
Well, then don't comment on it. Just go, I don't really know much.
But his point was, like, they chiseled on some rocks. So what?
But the intricacy of these places is, like, okay, everybody knows about the Great Pyramid.
Right. But I thought they were talking more about the stuff that's on the Sphinx and that's, you know.
Well, they talked about the Sphinx. They talked about Göbekli Tepe.
Yeah.
Right? Which is the oldest known structure.
Yeah.
They've only uncovered, I think, like 5% of it.
Right.
And these things are massive. They're like 18-foot high pillars with these things carved into them.
The faces and the animals. And
yeah.
Right, yeah.
And then this circular T-shaped stones. And I think we were having a conversation about this off camera a week or so ago. That, like, that's the first. Not only is it the first structure that they have found, or the oldest structure, it dates back 10 to 12,000 years ago, right? So that's
correct.
Close to 10,000 BC. But there's no signs of civilization at that point, where they thought that you had to have civilization in order to get to
religion. But
well,
no.
this looks like it's a place of ceremony, and so obviously there was religion
came
came before civilizations did.
Yeah.
Because in ancient Samaria, Mesopotamia, that was the cradle of civilization, which is like 6,000 years later.
Right.
You know. So I was watching it, and I was like, it's so crazy that people still think that a lot of this stuff is just it's rocks. You know.
They're really big.
Yeah, like.
And you had to like hump them from a
Well,
long way to get them where they are.
I don't know.
I don't know
how
if
many
like
times
aliens did it, but I mean that just still takes some effort.
Mm-hmm.
You
Well,
know,
yeah,
with a purpose.
and I don't know how many times like y'all guys have watched videos or heard people talk, or the viewers. Maybe you even hear me talking. You wish you could just like jump through the phone or the computer or whatever you're viewing with, and like bring up something like, hold on, wait a minute, no. You got it all fucking wrong, or
Like you wanted to read like the H blocks, like, all right, Smarty, how do you
yeah,
explain
like
that?
well, let's bring up Puma Punku, let's bring up Baalbek, there's a lot of different places that they just can't fucking explain, and I can name a ton of places that there's, a lot of people just go back to like the Mayan temples or Egyptian pyramids and that Stonehenge and that's like it, you know what I mean. But there's so many other places. Like Puma Punku is wildly fascinating. You know about Puma Punku?
Yeah.
Like with the intricacy of the H blocks and not to just talk about that, but like that place has been destroyed, and what it was made out of, like you would need pretty much a nuclear bomb to destroy that place.
Like
Yeah,
the
it's sitting there.
fragments are everywhere.
Yeah.
Of the rocks.
Exactly.
Right.
So
They're so perfectly fitted too.
Oh yeah.
With like the what is that called? Like the dovetail thing. It's not actually like a perfect interlock.
Yeah, they're interlocking.
To say, we still use that today.
Yeah.
Like your dresser drawer, you pull it back and you can see where it's done the same way to make your drawers stay together without nails and glue, right? Because it'll catch your clothes, right? At least a good dresser is made that way. But
like Puma Punku is one of my favorite places, but even if you look at Baalbek, and it has those 3 huge ass stones, right? And they call it, I always want to call it the triathlon, but that's the Olympic sport. It's something like that. And then these things are so massive. Like, they have pictures of people standing beside one, and they're like a fragment of one piece of it. Yeah. But these things just stretch on and on. They're like 100 tons or some shit.
It's huge.
Like, that's a huge ass block. Like, it's not 100 pounds, it's 100 tons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
That's a lot of elephants.
Yeah. And, like, they found where they were cutting them at.
Like at a quarry.
Yeah, they found it because there's one, like, sticking halfway out of the ground, half chiseled, but it looks like it got broke. So they were like, ah, fuck, start over. You know, it's like, what do you need a block that big for? You know, so some of the ancient, like, alien or astronaut theories is that, like, they use that for a base, you know, like the base.
A landing pad.
For a landing pad.
Right.
Which I think is cool as shit. And I'm not saying that, like, Sargon or Joe Rogan, either one of them has to believe in aliens visited us to help us do that shit, but to say that it was just some chiseling on some rocks and, you know, what was the big deal? You know, even the Sphinx they were talking about, where there's a geologist,
right,
who, and I've watched a lot about that, and there's hundreds of them that sign off on this guy's theory that the Sphinx is way older than the pyramids, where it's common belief that the pyramids and the Sphinx were around the same time.
Yeah, no, it was buried under sand when the Great Pyramids were being built.
Well, you can see water lines on it in the erosion from water.
Right.
And they think that the Sphinx was actually much bigger. Like, the head has been, like...
worn away.
They modified it to...
They modified it with the Egyptian time. Like,
yeah.
It actually probably looked like something else.
Like an actual lion, maybe.
Or something else, because, like, the head doesn't match the size of the body. So, like, something happened and they just reformed it to make it look like in the Egyptian pharaoh head on this big ass lion's body. And then when you look at all
maybe
the
that part was what was sticking out. Maybe they stumbled upon that, so they just changed it to match the pharaoh and didn't realize there was more under the ground. Right? Like
potential.
I don't know. Anyways, so you're saying you respect Sargon, but you would like for him to look deeper into things, into those things.
Correct, like
because it's interesting, it's fun, regardless of what conclusion.
But
you come to,
because he kept and Joe Rogan put him on his heels, which I respected that because obviously all of us in this type of community. I mean, I just did a video somewhat about it. Like, don't talk half-ass. Don't talk out your ass if you really don't know what you're talking about. Or admit, hey, I don't know what I'm talking about, but to me this seems like this. Say it as opinion.
He took it good naturedly too.
Yeah,
he never got heated. It was a good exchange.
Yeah, but he swiftly, a couple times, it was like, it's just some chisel marks. What's the big deal? I don't find that impressive.
Well, he's not that interested in that, I guess. So
I don't know how you can't be interested in that type of shit. Like, these people obviously were able to achieve things that we weren't. Now, you can say that there's an ancient society that was technically advanced way more than we were.
More technologically advanced.
Yeah.
I think they were able to do something with, like the electromagnetic field and with sound.
Resonant sound.
Waves. Yeah.
Well, I've seen a lot of stuff about that, about like sound geometry and different stuff like that, where there's certain vibrations, certain tones that can actually levitate things.
I mean, if you put sand on a bass speaker and let it pound, it goes up and down and all over the place.
But don't they have it where they have a certain frequency that'll make it dance, right?
They have frequencies that'll
make it shapes.
Yeah, geometrical patterns.
Got you.
Yeah, and I've seen studies where it can sound like we can't hear it, but certain sound will make the ball like levitate, and then they'll change it and it'll start spinning around. Yeah, so when using resonant sound, potentially you can levitate something and then move it. It'd be much easier. You ain't got any more stones. You got to try to figure out how to get through boats and that would explain if you could figure out that type of technology, how they got the rocks to where they got. Yeah, they wouldn't need this magical being with, its powers.
I mean, like monk chants and the ohms and stuff. That there's a spiritual reason that they're using those tones. Yeah.
To like line up with like earth energy or like
to
the
line
cosmic
things
energy.
up, to clear things out.
Monks have the chakras and stuff, right?
I mean,
chakra.
All of us,
right?
But
well, no. I mean, but that's they focus on that. That's right.
Yeah, they do a lot of the chanting that they do is the same. The same frequencies that are like for like relaxing sound or for like even healing. I saw this thing where somebody was like screaming at people, like a screaming healing. It was totally a joke, but I think it was making fun of like monks.
Well, I've seen them do that after the inauguration, and I don't think it helped. Now they call it like Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah, they're legit crazy now.
Speaking of Trump, this guy.
What?
And his tweets.
His Twitters.
His Twitters?
Yeah.
I don't care.
He's done it again.
What's wrong with his tweets?
I don't care.
I love it.
I do too.
Like, I mean, okay. So I see this
fault for electing a reality star.
Well, no. I mean, no.
He loves the spotlight. That puts him in the spotlight. He knows it.
No,
Good or bad.
Like, you know what he was doing while everybody was talking about that? That Kate's Law passed.
A form of it.
Form of Kate's Law.
They didn't shut down the whole sanctuary city totally.
Well, that Kate's Law they think will absolutely get through, where the other one might stall out. But so yeah, it's kind of like Congress and stuff was getting things done while everybody's talking about Trump's tweets.
That's true.
Well, I mean, they're obviously
not. Issue.
He could be totally silent on Twitter, and they go, "Why is he silent on Twitter?"
People would still provoke him. They would still. I mean, that's the thing is that they sit and they say they don't just say we don't agree with this policy. We think this policy maybe should include this. They don't talk about any solutions. They just go, he's crazy. He's Orange Hitler. He's a racist. He's a homophobe. He needs to be
misogynist.
impeached. He needs to be exiled.
Oh, that's Maxine Waters.
Yeah, and Pelosi keeps calling him Bush. He's still battling Bush from 20 years ago. And you're just like,
President
you guys don't
Bush.
have any credibility. This is why. Because all you do is throw out hateful words, and then you get mad when he says something bad. I don't care.
Well, it just
If
shows.
you talked about policy, if you talked about things you didn't like, maybe he would stop doing it. But you don't. You say, he's unhinged. He's a clown. He's bleh. Well, that's what you get.
It just shows the hypocrisy once again of the left side, the media, and all the above. It's really funny actually. You bring up the tweet. Everyone's going off about the blood on the face because of the facelift, which they admitted that she got some chin work done. So I guess he didn't have the right procedure. Well,
I think he does that on purpose to like get her. You don't think he knows? He's been married to models. You don't think he knows which procedure is which? I think he does that just so she had to come out and admit that she had face work done. It's like, you guys are dumb.
But not only that, it's like
they don't ever deny it either.
Well, yeah, but they're focusing on that, and in the same fucking tweet, he called her low IQ. They're like, okay, she is a dumb bitch, but she didn't have a total facelift. It was just a little chin work.
Just a little chin.
When
Like-
you put it that way, I tell you, that's some funny stuff.
Yeah, it's like, how
dumb.
dumb are you fucking people?
Yeah. Well, they didn't say
Just-
a word about Psycho Joe. They didn't say
Yeah.
a word
Yeah.
about him attacking him. That's totally okay, I guess, because he's a white male.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Or that
dude.
maybe because somebody was found dead in his.
The intern dead in his office as a
Yeah.
congressman.
Maybe he is psycho.
Yeah.
He looks a little strange. He could be what is it, American Psycho or whatever that fucking movie is.
Yeah.
The upstanding guy,
Yeah, that's him.
eating
kills
pie or
people.
whatever.
Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, I don't care about Trump's tweets. I don't care. I really don't care.
I will say this. Like,
I don't think it helps him, but I don't care.
yeah, for the most part, I don't give two shits. I did see a poll where like 71% of the population doesn't like
I
his
didn't get
tweets,
asked.
and thinks it gets in the way of things being done. And it's like potentially, yeah, because there have been some tweets that have caused more people to be questioned or whatever. But at the end of the day, like, it might be a good thing.
Like Comey and his imaginary memos that they can't find? Like that?
Well,
So now
The
he's being
tapes and-
subpoenaed for tapes that don't exist. So they had a hearing about Comey's fifis that don't exist either. And now it's opened up a whole can of worms. So part of me thinks he does this stuff on purpose. And they just keep feeding it. And it's like, stop it. Stop feeding him, dude. Don't feed the trolls. Stop it. If you don't like him, stop it. And they don't. They just continue to do it. The news cycle, more Russia, more Russia, more Russia. And then it came out, we were wrong. 17 agencies didn't say that. It's like, we knew that. We knew this months ago. You guys are slow. We knew this 6 months ago. We knew this.
It's funny how the media
Get it together.
makes us want to really hate on him.
well, it's the narrative. That's what they want to
Yeah.
push.
And you couldn't
I'm-
hate on anything Obama did because then you're a racist.
Well, I'm convinced, and I mean, this would be another show or whatever, but I'm totally convinced that there's another agenda where I think people really want communism. Not just like Antifa and shit like that, but I think there's a group of maybe political leaders, maybe
Like
the money
Soros-y
holders,
type of thing.
yeah, the money handlers that want to push for a communist state. You know, so I do think that there's some sort of American, like they're trying to devalue everything that America stands for.
I think on your politician level, I think they look at the populace like children. And I made this point earlier on Discord that they look at everyone like a child. Obama was condescending, and it's like you don't know what you need. I'm gonna take care of it. You don't know. And if you agree with that, then that's stupid. I mean, literally, he would do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And talk condescending. That's one of the things I didn't like about him. Like, I don't like this guy. I'm not voting for this guy. He's condescending and rude. I don't need you to tell me what's good for me. I don't need you to tell me what I'm gonna do. That's rude. And so there's this whole idea. It's like with guns. Well, we need to take away everybody's guns because, by golly, you guys are just gonna get hurt. No, that's bad parenting. It's lazy parenting, right?
Yeah.
So instead of addressing a situation, teaching your kid, explaining to your child what you should be doing, we're just going to keep pandering to it and be like, oh, well, they'll say stuff like, well, you know, when you have issues, and they go, well, don't you say anything about the Muslims because, you know, the jihadists, not just regular, but they just don't understand. They just don't know. So they don't get a sentence in the court. Well, they just don't understand our rules. They just don't understand. That's condescending and that's belittling. They do the same thing with the blacks. They do the same thing with the gays. Whoever their favorite child of the moment is who they prop up and say, oh, we're going to help you. We're going to do these things.
Speaking about the black community.
Pat. Like we're all their pets. And it's like, no, I don't need to be nannied. I don't need this. Get the fuck out of my life. Take all of your shit and get it out. All of it. And I think that's what they do on like that politician-y level. I think they just think that we're all idiot children that can't handle our fucking business.
Well, if you went probably K through 12, you are an idiot.
Well, now they've convinced you have to go to college, otherwise you're uneducated.
Well, that's where
it's like, didn't you just
that's where they
for
finished
12 years? No, that means you're doing a shit job.
I mean, the best way to make the most money is to put yourself $250,000 in debt.
That makes no sense.
But that's
right?
what it is.
But they say if they go, well, they make comments about like the working class. Like you think your plumbers, your construction workers, and all these people, right? Your Habat guys, right? And that's who like Trump went after, right? You think blue collar, right? You know how much money they make? Really good money, and all they got is a certification that they can do the thing. They didn't have to go through the rest of it. They make really good money, but that's not seen as legitimate. That's not seen as
Habat people make some good money.
Hell yeah, they do. I mean, linemen and electricians and stuff start out at like $60,000. I mean, come on. So, and all they have to do is go to those classes and learn that, and they train you, and then you do it, but that is seen as somehow less than. Well, you don't have a college education, you can't have an opinion. No, I most certainly can have an opinion. I didn't need 4 years to tell me that you're an idiot, right? Like, no. In whatever stupid study you got, basket weaving and underwater gender studies or some bullshit, you know? No.
You gotta
Whatever.
make sure the fish are female.
So
they're binary, don't you know? They've done studies.
well,
Now
some frogs
Stone
are
says
turning
gay. Infowar.com.
Well, there is some. I don't want to get onto that, but there is some of the chemtrails or whatever actually does affect one certain frog, and it's like 90% or 95% of the frogs that comes in contact with this ingredient. It's some pesticide that it turns them not only gay but like transgender. So they'll change sex or whatever. It reminds me of Jurassic Park.
Right.
But anyways.
So anyways.
You brought up, you know, they speak condescending to like the black community, right?
Yeah.
And I was going to interject.
I think so.
I was going to interject, so I wanted to bring it back up to that. And I said, speaking of the black community, so I guess Trump tweeted out again, since we're talking about his tweets, that he's sending in some help for Chicago.
Chirac?
Chicago.
Chicago?
Chicago.
How many do you have? How many more do you know? Those are my two favorites.
That's
I know Shit Town, because instead of Chi Town, it's Shit Town. I've heard that one. That's not one of my favorites. Chirac is probably my favorite.
Yeah, Chirac is. Well, they like that.
Yeah, it's kind of
That's what they call it.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's been over 1,700
feds.
shootings this year already.
This year, since January.
Yeah, halfway through the year.
Is that shootings or murders?
Shootings.
Are you sure it's not murderers?
I'm positive it's
just shootings.
Shot and killed, shot and wounded. Combined is over 1,700.
I don't want you to step into that fake news.
I'm not fake
admitting
news.
Truth.
No,
Truth.
that's why I didn't say there were 1,700 homicides.
Okay.
That'd be a real shit ton. I mean, you know how many you would have to average a fucking week?
Yeah.
That's a lot. So anyways, okay.
Yeah.
So yes, they're sending in the feds. I'm sure Rahm Emanuel's going to be really excited about that. He's going to be like, blah, blah, blah. I don't need your help.
Well, so
Trump already said he's unfit to run the city.
Well, your city is run amok.
Well, Illinois itself is going bankrupt.
Yeah, the state itself is going bankrupt.
So,
for sure.
Illinois.
Yeah.
I always put the S. I can't help it.
Illinois.
Illinois, Washington.
Oh, stop.
Massive two sheets.
Massive two shits.
Yeah.
That's me on a daily. Anyways, wow.
And free talk goes freaky. All right. Go.
Anyway, so I guess he's sending in some help, and he's been talking about potentially if they couldn't get it under control, he's gonna have to do something. But if you actually like look at this shit, I look at it kind of daily, and not to keep name dropping people, but Tommy Sotomayor, he's forever putting shit out, and a lot of it does come from Chicago and a lot of other areas. But what I wanted to talk about, like with the politicians and the black community, and speaking about that, is if you actually look at these areas, and it's not just shit town, it's you look at Baltimore, you look at
Baltimore's been in the news quite a bit also.
yeah, but you look at parts of DC. DC's got a little more cleaned up over the years. I remember when I was younger, it was the murder capital, But you look at any inner city, right? And it's some of the things I try to explain to people during election time, and they are like all pro Hillary, not gonna go for Trump because he's a racist, and it must be Democrats. And it's like, if you look at, and especially Chicago, I think Chicago, you can date back like 70 years at least. They've been under Democratic rule, right? What the fuck good has happened? Like, you're to the point now that they're getting ready to bring tanks in if they can't get this shit under control. You are Venezuela.
They're ushering in the police state for us.
Yeah. It's like, thanks. But like, that just goes to show the bullshit, like you were saying, that, not only are they condescending, but they're not really working in your best interest or your favor.
No.
Like,
No.
if someone's oppressing you, it's the people you're voting for.
Yeah, in your town, in your city, it's not the president. It's your city council. It's who's running your town, who's your governor of your state. I mean, like, those things really affect you as a voter. You, not the federal level, you personally. And they've got incredibly strict gun laws there. So how are you having all these shootings? I mean, isn't that how it's supposed to work?
Because the bad people get the guns and the good people obey the law.
Well, the Democrats say that guns show loopholes, and then they get them from like Wisconsin and bring them.
Why is there a market? Why is there a market for people to break the law? They should not be wanting to break the law.
To make sure that they help usher in the police state.
I mean, right? It's just like, well, because
you really want to talk about the police state, don't you? Tell us.
I'm just saying that's what
tell us what
like.
Jade Helm 13 is all about. Like, they were practicing a couple years ago.
Yes, they were. Maybe they were practicing for Baltimore and Chicago.
Very possible.
Well, I mean, you look at these areas.
By the way, Jade Helm 13 was a military exercise about 2 years ago where they practiced in
Texas,
street.
right?
Texas. There was a couple other places. I think Georgia, they had one. But they practiced in like war conflict strategy inside cities. And they said it was for like, going to the Middle East or somewhere like that. They had to. But a lot of people believe that it was for our our cities here.
Practice here at home. For here at home.
Yeah, for here at home. And, there was a lot of thought process that the UN was going to come in and all hell was going to break loose. We're all getting thrown in FEMA camps and being retaught.
You think that's never going to happen?
It could happen if you keep voting for lefties.
Yeah, if Chicago continues to have...
You guys can vote for the socialists. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, look at Venezuela right now.
Got a chance. Match me. No. Socialism is shit. Communism is shit. It makes everyone the poorest person that you can think of. It makes everyone like that. It does not bring everyone up. It makes everyone to the lowest level. No.
Lowest common denominator.
You vote for that shit, you will get that. That's exactly what will happen. Because I just told you, they don't think we can think for ourselves. They don't think we can handle our own business. So of course they're going to have to reteach us how to be people. Because obviously we just can't handle the responsibility ourselves.
But they're doing a just fine job through television. Programming everybody.
Turn it off. Turn it off.
Well, I talked about that last night about the propaganda machine, and it's crazy.
Well, the lies of omission.
But I mean, honestly, what do y'all think about Trump actually sending some type of aid? No, it's not tanks yet, or you know.
I was reading on the internet, and a lot of people who aren't from there are like, "Fuck them, let them sink. I've had enough." They're, you know,
fucking girl, fuck them.
Yeah, that's exactly because fuck them, wall it off, let them die.
But what about the people who can't afford to leave?
Who the fuck can't afford to leave?
You know how high their taxes are there? Are you kidding me?
I mean, I don't know.
Well, do you know how much it costs to live in a city?
Like 2 to 3 times as much as it costs to live here.
I'm sure a lot of this is happening in like the poor areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're poor compared to like country living. I've always wondered that too. It's like $14 for a pack of cigarettes there. I'm like, holy crap, that's a lot just for one pack. Holy moly, bajoli.
Well,
right? And I'm like,
come with a blowjob. I suck on this, you suck on that, and we make the exchange.
That's $15.
Right?
That'd be cheap then. Yeah.
But their cost of living is higher, and it's like, there's jobs here, guys. Leave. Demand your city.
I come down to the boonies, pick your cotton again.
Yeah, demand from your city better.
That was racist.
That's the issue. Demand from your city better. You got MS-13. You've got drugs going on everywhere. You've got innocent people that are trapped there. Why aren't they marching for that? Like, I've had enough of this.
Well, these are the same.
More.
This is the same type of place that doesn't want
but
the police to.
Get stitches.
This is the same place that doesn't want police to patrol their area because they're the bad guys.
Yeah.
However,
the federal means you're taking.
There's 1,700 people being shot, and how many is by the cops?
I'm just saying. There are people, because it's federal money. First off, he already said it's sanctuary city, and I'm not abiding by the laws.
Yeah, so he's
so why are they getting federal help? Because that means it's our money, not their money. Their state doesn't have it. It's everybody else's money. It's every other state around them that's watching this horror shit show, going, "What the fuck, guys? What the fuck?" There's more.
Well, there's
gotta be more good people than there are bad people. What the fuck?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you want to hope that there's a great majority of good people, and that they're just stuck in this modern day Iraq. You know, so yes, you want to send them aid,
right?
Just like you'd want to help out the refugees, but it's not by bringing them. Like, we shouldn't go take the people from Chicago and bring them over to Virginia or bring them over to anywhere else. No, go fix Chicago. Go fix Illinois. You know, just like you go put up fucking safe houses in Syria.
Right. I'm just saying what I've read. There's a lot of people that are like, no, because of this, because of Rahm Emanuel and his big fat mouth. They're like, no, sink. I don't care anymore. You guys are too stupid to vote for something better and to vote for something different. That's what I read.
Maybe he's a Nazi, so we can go punch him.
Probably. Now, then there's other people that I saw that are from Illinois. They're like, oh my God, thank you. Please send help. Please help. So I've seen both sides of it. I've seen people that are like,
Well, you gotta send help if help is needed.
I understand. I just was repeating you what I've seen. Of course it's internet courage, so it's vile, but I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, personally, it's like, I have thought process like, man, when is California gonna just drop off? Can we just chisel it away?
Just the bottom half, right?
But it's like, no, there's a lot of Californians that are not super crazy.
No, you can look at the electoral map and see it.
There's certain areas that are just
like the bonkers. Interior and the top was all red. The farmers and it's all red.
I don't know what the fuck's going on in Portland. That's the most violent city now, for political violence.
They've lost their minds. Keep Oregon weird. They're bizarre. Yeah. They're bizarre.
You know that they got the best weed up in Oregon. They grow the best weed that the United States has.
And blueberries.
And blueberry. That's probably where they get the blueberry kush from.
That's the only place you can grow blueberries naturally is in that area.
Really?
Yeah.
I like some blueberry buckle.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Tasty.
No, I mean when we went there, and you got to think. My family was there back in the 50s and 60s, or I guess 40s, right?
Were they crazy then?
No.
Maybe it's been years of rooting for a duck.
Leo.
And the beavers.
And beavers. Like, that's weird-ass mascots.
But anyways, my point is that, no, you have these beautiful little homes and sidewalks and roses
Trailblazers.
everywhere. They have a big thing with roses. It's everywhere. And you've got the mountains on one side.
And oceans on the other.
And oceans on the other. It's absolutely beautiful. Like, it's something to be seen, to have the mountains and the ocean that close together. And then you go downtown Portland, and where all these old little shops and things are standing, and because they don't have the weather change, their stuff's been standing there since like the 30s, the 20s and the 30s, because they don't have the influx and the humidity like you have on the East Coast, so they're not replacing everything every 20
At what
years.
point do you drive into Ripley's Believe It or Not?
Right at the front. You drive into Portland and you see nothing but like dreads, hippies, and people talking about smoking pot while
see a
you're
lot of
walking
tents?
through with little kids, and you're like, oh my god, you guys, come on. I get freedom of speech, but there's an appropriateness and a respect level of like, shut the fuck up, please. And because it's like, what's that? Oh my god, keep walking, and you're like, come on, guys. Like, I get it. You want to do whatever you do. They have like a naked bike ride down the mountain every year. It's like a big thing.
A naked bike
A
ride.
naked bike ride.
I'd be scared to, like, have a
Wreck.
malfunction, wreck, and, like, my dick get caught in the, like, the chain
The
thing.
spokes or something, and
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they have a naked bike ride, and
come out like Swiss cheese or something.
yeah, and it's not like music video beauties that are on this bike ride. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm sure there's
So-
some fucking porpoises
Yeah, some hand planets and such not.
on
So
tricycles and shit.
anyways. But it was definitely like, it's like the 1960s, 70s era, like Orange Sunshine era, took root and stayed there in their own.
So
little
Happy Days is
bubble.
still going on.
Well, that Everest College nonsense. The inmates are
Oh,
running the
yeah.
asylum there. Like,
That was actually interesting.
which is
I
a failing
seen-
college. Go figure.
What is the guy's name?
Weinstein?
Weinstein, Greenstein, whatever.
I don't remember his first name, but yeah.
Bill.
Ben?
I can't remember his name, but he's the professor who's
Was.
super, yeah, who was super lefty,
Super left liberal.
and he got like thrown out for being a racist
Well, because he said...
because he stood up for once and was like, it's going too far.
Well, they didn't want to let any white people talk at whatever their little whatever was. And he's like, wait a
Their
minute,
PTA.
that's racist. You can't do that. Everybody needs to have a voice, and let's all talk about it. And you gotta think, you're all lefties, so you're all gonna agree.
Yeah, hug it out.
No. And they said absolutely not, and like, our death threats and everything else.
He's the racist because he wanted to talk.
Yeah, because he's a white guy.
Wow.
And he's a professor there, yeah.
Know your place, white boy.
He's on Dave Rubin, right?
Yeah,
Talking about it. Some
and he was
other
also on
places,
Joe Rogan, and
but yeah.
a lot of the same people interview the same people.
Well, I think once you're here,
they interview
because they're
each
all
other.
out in like LA, once they're here, they just do the
I'm
circuit.
hoping to make it to where I can get on some of these damn shows.
Right?
I'd like some people to come to our show.
Well, that's
Even a call in. That'd be cool. But anyways, so yeah, that's a little wild. I don't know, like the whole, now it's like, at first it was just like parts of California, and there's people in Arizona that are like, I want my Bayside view, you know?
Well, I think it's the craziness
DPFO.
bleeding from Canada and Mexico.
That's coming in,
Yeah.
maybe.
We need 2 walls.
We need a couple.
Well, then we could-
I've suggested that when he builds his wall, he just ramps it up all the way to the Canadian border and just wall off all 3 of those states.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe we need one for Canada too. I don't know. Canada's weird. Like,
you
it's
can't
hard as
get
fuck
in
to
there.
get into Canada.
If you've had like a DUI on your record, you can't get in.
Yeah.
You're not
However,
allowed
if you go
visit.
to the right city, there's prostitutes everywhere lined up down
Oh, and they
the
have like heroin, like they have like
dispensaries and shit.
clinics
Yeah.
where you can do drugs safely.
You
Try
go to
clean up
jail in
Vancouver
Canada
so they
now.
have less dead people on the streets. Is what
You can
they-
go to jail now in Canada for calling somebody the wrong gender term or whatever.
They will come take your children in Canada if you don't agree with them having a sex change. I read that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can also, if like you say a joke, like we were talking about different.
Do they
jokes
really
and whatnot.
ride mooses? Moose?
No, you can't ride a moose. Those things are violent as fuck, man.
Isn't that what the Mounties like fucking ride? They've always shown the picture of that.
I think that's bullshit. Moose are incredibly territorial and vicious. If you see a moose, get away.
So they're racist.
Yeah, they hate Canadians.
Fucking moose.
Yeah. Those,
Nieces.
no, whoa. No. So, but what was the other one that they had going on up there? Trudeau and his hug it out with that stupid puppet rainbow unicorn.
Speaking
Oh
of
my
puppets, how about
God.
Elmo?
Elmo?
To bring it full circle back to the refugees.
He was on CNN, wasn't he?
Yeah, talking about Trump's position on Muslim refugees is bad. Elmo. Yeah, he visited.
Elmo has a political opinion?
Yeah, him and some chick visited a refugee center, and he made so many friends. And Trump has it wrong. You should see that fucking clip.
Wow.
Elmo?
Elmo,
Elmo,
the fucking Sesame Street guy.
Ah, Mr. Noodle. That guy?
Yeah.
Like,
He made so many friends.
Are you kidding me?
No.
And he's against Trump. Elmo doesn't like
Oh,
Trump.
yeah.
Well, probably because he wants to cut PBS funding,
Well, maybe. Well, yeah.
which they should.
Public
Why?
broadcast.
It's a public broadcast paid by the taxpayers that spews. But wait, hold on, no. Hold on. How much do you think Elmo's worth?
Oh,
Elmo
Elmo's
himself.
worth plenty.
They're worth billions. Sesame,
Sesame
Street
Street
could pay for PBS to keep running.
Yeah.
They don't need taxpayer money.
Yeah.
They don't need it. Step up. If you like it, donate to it. Great. Good for you. Whatever.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Is how
They
that
make
worked.
billions of dollars. They're on diapers. They're on cups. They're on everything. No. No.
You tickle the fuck out of a little bastard.
Dude, that thing was worth like $200 at one point in the 90s, remember?
People-
Oh, people could beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, yeah. There was some violence going on. We had a Tickle Me Cookie Monster. Way better. Cookie Monster's way better.
Nobody likes
Monster's-
Cookie Monster.
Cookie
Why?
Monster's the
Because he's
shit.
wearing blue, like a lefty.
No.
You racist.
I almost read.
Fuck him too. Now you don't like red people? Is that what it is?
I don't like fucking Big Bird either. I like the Count. That motherfucker was a pimp.
He's
That guy
cool.
died.
A 1 and a 2.
He died.
Bring me
Voice of
my
that guy
money.
died. Fun fact. That was actually like 2 years ago. 3 maybe?
The Count died?
Yeah. The voice of the Count, not the actual Count. He's a muppet. So.
Speaking of Sesame Street, Dave Chappelle's version of Sesame Street was funny as shit.
I have not seen that.
Well, I think he was the comedian who first talked about Sesame Street. Like, the Count was a pimp, and Oscar was the heroin addict.
Right.
Broke all.
Oh no, he was the homeless guy. Oscar was the homeless guy.
Snuffleupagus
was the heroin addict.
Yeah.
And Big Bird was something he had something for everybody.
Everyone.
But then he did the one, I think Mos Def was in the show. And they're it's like a Sesame Street type of thing. And they're doing heroin, and it's funny as shit. It's a good skit.
Okay, we'll have to look that up.
One of them gets AIDS or something.
All right, now you've gone too far. Enough.
Little fucking puppets.
Enough. Did you know they repealed the law that said that if you knowingly infect somebody with AIDS, you will no longer be charged with, I guess murder.
Who did that?
I believe California, and they said because it's discriminatory, it's anti-gay. And I'm like, dude, that's
No, it's anti-AIDS.
It's anti-AIDS, pro-gay. If your partner doesn't, what? No, that seems like a pro-gay. But then, because that's where it blew up.
Well, that's
right?
a very stereotypical thing to say.
That's what else I thought also. I was like, because there was what I was reading it, and then the responses were from gay people like, no, that's a pro-gay bill. It's whoa, no. If you give me AIDS, I'm gonna be pissed, right? That and you knew that? No, that's a no. So there was I was reading it
it's
off of
technically
a
like a murder,
pro-gay
attempted
site,
murder.
Right. And so they said, well, it's anti-gay because gays have more instances of AIDS. And then I was like, well, that's just rude as fuck to just put out there in the
It's
first
like putting a
place.
law for sickle cell.
Right?
And
I
they're
just-
well,
so
it's
there
a
was a
pro-black
lot of
law.
our Trump gays. Apparently, they don't. They hate them too. They're not allowed at the Pride marches. Trump gays are not allowed at Pride.
They're
marches.
not real gays.
Yeah, they're not real gays. Just like if you're pro-life, you're not allowed at the Women's March. You're not the right type of woman. They were banned. So, anyways, but that just
Once again, the people are fucking nuts.
they're retarded.
I think a lot of people need to get the smack from the hand of God, powder style, throw some baby powder.
That's
on
why
the hand.
Daddy Trump is here to give him the belt. That's it. over the knee. So check this out.
Yeah,
so
maybe these motherfuckers
on
need to be
Reddit,
spanked.
somebody was lurking one of the other sites, right? And they have a whole page, right, of from like a lefty thing, a whole page of different people talking about how Trump showed up in their dream, and they're like, "Oh my God, I feel so dirty. I had to take like 5 showers. He showed up in my sex dream," and I'm like, "That's you secretly wanting a real man. You want an alpha male, bitches. That's what's wrong with you. That's why you're
sometimes you just need to
sad.
be grabbed by the pussy.
You do, and you'll like it. It's gonna be great."
I'm gonna
But
do it
Trump
later.
needs to get that belt on that ass. Straighten them out. But it was like 10 of them, right? And in the corner, it had that front page from like the New York Post back in the day, the black and white, where it's like best sex I ever had. And it's got Trump's face.
Yeah.
It's like one of his women. But I was just like, oh boy, they're like openly admitting they're all having these sex dreams about Trump. And I'm like, well, it's because he's an alpha male. And you recognize that as a female, right? For furthering your genes. Sorry. Biology is going to kick your ass every time. So, 2
Nice.
terms, 2 genders. So, anyways. Anybody got any more news?
I mean, I'm sure.
We got the bald guy who stole some Rogaine.
Yeah, cops are on the.
Nice.
The cops are looking for this guy. He sold like 15 things.
And they're like, well, he's going to be back because you need to do it for at least a year for it to work. So I just was like, wow. And a hair-raising tail. It was so funny. I
They're
was
on
like,
A hair-raising tail.
a hair-raising tail. Yeah,
Nice.
that was in the article. And I was like,
That's
well
good.
done, guys.
They're on the hunt for ATV riders in DC.
Why?
What was that supposed to mean?
They were driving up and down the sidewalks protesting something.
Protesting something?
What, roads?
Both.
I mean,
There was a bunch of protesters, and I don't know where it was. I don't even remember what they were protesting. It might have been some big city. I don't know. They all look the same to me. But anyways, so they're all laying in the street, right? And like, we're standing up to, oh, don't repeal Obamacare because of Medicaid, which is stupid because that's not, never mind. We're not getting in that conversation. But anyways,
No.
they're laying in the middle of the street, being like, stand up too, right? And I see no one standing up. So anyways, this motorcycle revs real loud and comes through them, and they all jump up. And my first thought was like, it's a good thing that dude was there to help them stand up for whatever the fuck it was they were yelling about, because they were not able. They were just laying in the street, looking very sad.
well, it's lazy protesting.
It very much is. We're
They're
just
not
gonna lay
marching. They're
here.
not standing.
But
They're
we're gonna say we're standing up. But that motorcyclist came.
lay
through,
down for what
"Ow!"
you believe.
And they all jumped up quickly. So good job, motorcyclists, helping that protest get going to whatever it was standing up to, because they were having some trouble.
Good job.
Good job.
All right, I think we'll wrap it up on that note. I think we covered a decent amount of topics, decent conversations.
Nobody's even drinking tonight.
I know. I couldn't do it. I was tired. It's a shame. Typically, I drink on Fridays.
All right.
I'll make up for it next Friday.
Oh boy.
I promise. I'm off and everything.
Uh-oh.
We might have 2 free talks.
All right.
Anyways,
Freaky Talk Friday.
yeah. Fucked up Friday.
We'll get you to sing. We'll get you to rap.
Maybe I'll sneak peek some of my parodies coming up for
So,
y'all.
that'd be
But
awesome.
yeah, hope you like the content. If you actually stayed this long, you're a true fan, and I appreciate it. Like, subscribe,
Oh, have a
dislike.
great 4th.
Have a great 4th.
If we don't talk to you
If I-
again,
Yeah, we'll talk.
maybe.
We'll talk. I'll talk about the 4th. Independence. Got to.
All right.
Anyways, leave comments. Like I said, you know what the fuck to do. Good night.